Now on Fox 50, it is a WRAL weather alert day, and we're tracking rain in Wilson in addition to the chance for a few stronger thunderstorms coming up. I'll help you plan out the day with Futurecast.
Traffic crash on I-40 eastbound that just cleared, but there's another trouble spot in the westbound lanes of I-40. I'll update you and let you know how to get around it.
And we're in the WRAL Storm Tracker with a look at your morning commute. Coming up, a live look at road conditions on 40 East.
A police chase ends with a truck being crashed into the garage door of a Wake County home. Coming up, everything we know so far.
A lot of news and weather to share with you this morning. It is a messy commute out there, as you just saw from Kelsey. Thanks for joining us on your Thursday, your WRAL Weather Alert Day. I'm Michelle McConaughey.
Now I'm Chris Levingood. Folks, please take your time when you're out there on the road. And I can show you right here why meteorologist Chris Michaels has been watching closely with the dual Doppler 5000 behind him. Show them what they're looking at this morning.
Exactly. Yeah, we just showed you the live cam from Wilson. There's some of that rain that's moving to the east, but some of it is quite heavy at times in Nash County, heading into Rocky Mount as we speak. Most of the rain is just to the east of I-795 in Wayne County, moving more toward Greenville, New Bern. We're also watching some heavy rain that's moving just north of Durham. That's heading more toward Creedmoor. That's going to be in areas like Person, Granville, and Vance counties. But you see all that toward the Triad that continues to move toward the north and east. A little break in the action in Pittsboro, but more rain off toward the south, coming in from Lee County, heading into areas like Fuquay, Varina, Holly Springs, and Apex within the next little bit. You'll also notice some of those showers heading toward Lillington within the next few minutes. A little dry slot has developed this morning, but it's gradually starting to fill in the mid-levels of the atmosphere, so I do expect more rain coming in waves. It's not going to be raining where you are every single minute of the day today. That said, we've already got some pretty saturated ground, so a flood watch is in effect through tonight. National Weather Service saying that we could see up to 3 inches of additional rain. Here's the silver lining in that dark and rainy cloud. At least we're not dealing with the oppressive heat. High temperatures today, 78 to 83. Busy morning in traffic, though, Kevin.
Very busy morning, but we've got some good news for morning commuters, particularly if I-40 eastbound is part of that. We've been following these wet road conditions this morning. We've had some breaking news this morning on I-40 eastbound right there at Gorman Street. We just got reports of that crash that was I-40 eastbound at Gorman Street just cleared. So you should see things really beginning to clear up a bit. You can see it went from red to yellow, and eventually that's just going to end up green. That icon you see right there is a crash that happened on Gorman Street proper. It's not really causing any problems right there in that Gorman Street area, but we'll keep an eye on it and let you know what's going on. The other troubled spot on I-40, this one is in the westbound lanes. This just happened near South Miami Boulevard. You can see it's causing some backups in that area. I would recommend using I-540 as an alternate route to get to the All Points West, or even Highway 70 might be an option for you to avoid I-40 westbound right now in this particular area. Elsewhere around the triangle, we're seeing Raleigh police working crashes on local roads like Capitol Boulevard, North New Hope Road, and those type of local roads, not causing any problems for your morning commute whatsoever. We do have the WRAL Storm Tracker out this morning. Kelsey Coffey is giving us a closer look at conditions there on I-40 eastbound. Kelsey, what do you see?
Ken, we're actually just now starting to get a little bit of break with the rain. So we'll give you a live look now at road conditions on 40 East in Durham. But about 15 minutes ago, we had a heavy downpour. We're headed into southern Wake right now because it looks like our meteorologist team says that we should start seeing another batch of rain there within the next 30 minutes or so. So this is the 4th WRAL weather alert day in a row. Lots of rain that we've seen over the past few days. And the concern with that is potential trees falling. So we haven't heard of any reports of that, but we will be on the lookout for that throughout the day. Definitely going to be a wet morning commute for you, so be careful as you're out on the roadways. Kelsey Coffey, WRAL News, live in Durham.
And breaking news this morning, authorities say a police chase ended with a car crashing into a house near Wake Forest. As Nick Perlin shares, it all began with a chase in Rollsville.
This is the aftermath of a police chase that started in Rollsville. You can see this Tahoe here badly damaged in the back part of the car, and the car crashing into the garage door of this Wake County home. Now take a look at this video from the WRAL breaking news tracker, and you can see this truck that Rollsville police were allegedly chasing early this morning. You can see it here crashing into this Tahoe, leading to the Tahoe, then crashing into this garage door. Now, when Rollsville police did arrive here, they didn't find the driver. The driver took off at some point shortly after this crash. So we're still working with Rollsville police right now to find out what led up to this chase. And of course, if they have any idea where the driver is this morning, as new information becomes available, we'll be sure to update you. In Wake County, Nick Perlin, WRAL News.
And developing this morning at 1 a.m., State Highway Patrol released the names of the 5 people killed in this crash on I-95. The driver of the tractor trailer authorities say caused the crash is now facing 5 misdemeanor counts of death by motor vehicle. The crash happened just before 2 o'clock yesterday afternoon on I-95 North. That was near the Wilson and Johnston County line. Troopers say while traffic was merging for a lane closure, a tractor trailer did not slow down. In fact, it plowed into cars that were trying to slow down and eventually caught fire. 3 people in one of these cars died. They were Edward and Martha Davis and Linda Whitehurst. 2 people died in another car. They were William and Elizabeth Tucker. The driver of the tractor trailer, 51-year-old Charles Haskell, is from Las Vegas, and he is being held in the Wilson County Jail on a $25,000 bond.
Atlantic Avenue in Raleigh is back open after a crash that left a motorcyclist seriously hurt. The road reopened at about 2 o'clock this morning. It was closed for more than 5 hours after that crash happened, just after 8:30 near Highwood Boulevard. Raleigh police say the rider was taken to the hospital with serious injuries. We are working to learn the cause of that crash.
2 people are in the hospital with serious injuries because of a crash on Lake Wheeler Road in Raleigh. That crash happened just before 11 o'clock last night. This was between Tryon Road and Mid-Pines Road. Investigators say the car ran off the road, hit a pole and 2 mailboxes before it hit a tree. Troopers believe speed and alcohol were factors in this crash. Charges are still pending.
Happening today, state Democratic leaders will come together to promote Vice President Kamala Harris's bid for president. Governor Roy Cooper will be among the speakers, highlighting Harris's vision for the future in contrast to former President Trump's agenda. Today's press conference begins at 10 this morning in downtown Raleigh.
Former President Donald Trump is pivoting his political attacks to his new challenger, Vice President Kamala Harris, and he's portraying her as an ultra-liberal. Trump brought that message to Bojangles Coliseum in Charlotte last night. It was his first campaign rally since President Joe Biden dropped from the race. Trump called Harris a liar and criticized her for the state of the southern border.
What kind of a vice president or what kind of a border czar allows these monsters to come into our country?
Trump also highlighted a number of Republican candidates for office this fall, and that includes outgoing State House Speaker Tim Moore, who's running for Congress.
In his first speech since dropping out of the 2024 race, President Joe Biden called on the American people to protect democracy in America. Biden delivered his address last night from the Oval Office. He said that he decided it was time to pass the torch to a younger generation and help unite the country.
I believe my record as president, my leadership in the world, my vision for America's future, all merited a second term. But nothing can come in the way of saving our democracy. That includes personal ambition.
Biden did not mention former President Trump by name in his speech. He praised Vice President Kamala Harris, calling her experienced, tough, and capable.
A plane went down and landed right by someone's front porch. We are getting you a closer look at this crash at someone's home in Utah.
And after years of training, athletes are days away from competing in the Paris Summer Olympic Games. We'll look at the link between mental and physical as competitors go for the gold.
And this morning, we're tracking periods of rain along this front that just hasn't gone anywhere, but it will in time for the weekend. I'm helping you plan for the weekend. That's coming up in just a little bit.
Welcome back and good morning. This is a live look over Pinehurst. A lot of golfers out there this morning. They're kind of taking a chance. They might feel a couple raindrops here and there, but you know what? Those golfers, they'll always take the chance to get a good round in. Meteorologist Chris Michaels is here with the rainfall totals that we've seen over the past week. We're really getting some rain.
Yeah, and it looks like we've actually gotten above par on the rain totals so far over the past week or so. 4 to 8 inches of rain is what's been estimated by radar from areas like Sanford to Fayetteville, Raleigh to Goldsboro. It's just been a lot at one time, and we've got more rain on the way today. That's why a flood watch has been issued for the area through tonight. National Weather Service is saying up to 3 inches could fall. I think that's going to be on the higher end of things as we give you a live look at Wake County. Got some showers right now trying to move toward Garner, areas like Willow Spring. You got a few showers well north of Raleigh heading toward Creedmoor. In fact, let's take you into the northern part of the area, and you see that heavy rain around Creedmoor heading toward areas like Oxford and Henderson, just to the south and east of Roxborough. That's probably our heaviest rain that we've got right now, although folks in Nash County really starting to see that. That's going to hitch a ride just to the north of I-95, and in the southern portion of the viewing area, Hope Mills getting poured on. Fayetteville, that's coming your way as well. Andrew, Lillington, watch out as you got some heavy rain coming in your direction as well. So it's these waves of rain that Futurecast is showing up until at least midday. There will be some breaks in the action as we've seen already this morning. Then as we head toward about 4 p.m., storms are going to be pretty hit and miss for us. And even as we head toward about 8 p.m. today, it looks like things will start to calm down as we head into tomorrow morning. If you're going to get some exercising in, whether it's golfing like you just saw or maybe heading out for a walk or jog, just be careful. Temperatures near 80 degrees. The heat is not a big deal, but things a little slick on the sidewalks there. It also feels muggy. Once again, that tropical moisture, you see that in the green, but notice this front is the separating force between tropical moisture and drier air, and you'll love to see that. High pressure is going to come into control of our weather. The breeze comes in out of the north and east. That means drier air settling in for the weekend. Exception might be the mountains, 72 the high Saturday in Boone, Raleigh at 87. Meanwhile, at the beach, very nice weekend on tap with temperatures in the 80s out toward areas like Wrightsville. For today, 80 with rain. That's a WRAL weather alert day as we head into Friday, 85. 87 to 89. That's essentially where we're going to camp out for high temperatures from this weekend into early next week.
And happening now in the WRAL Traffic Center, we're getting reports of Raleigh police just working a lot of crashes on local roads like Capitol Boulevard, North New Hope Road, and those types of local roads, not really causing any problems for your morning commute this morning. A troubled spot has been I-40. This one has been I-40 westbound. This traffic crash we've been following for the last 45 minutes or so. It's on I-40 westbound near Miami Boulevard. You can see it's causing a little bit of a backup there on I-40 westbound. I would recommend using Highway 70 as an east-west route to get to all points west at this point in the morning. Depending on where you are, you could also use a local road like Tryon Road to get to where you're going this morning. We are seeing a bit of a slowdown on I-885 in the north and southbound lanes. We also have reports of a crash on I-885 in the southbound lanes, closing one lane there, and you can see the backup it's causing. Let's give you a live look now outside at what we're seeing on I-885. This is at Alexander Drive, and you can see that slowdown going right now. We'll keep an eye on that and let you know. It's probably adding about 2 to 3 minutes to your morning commute, so just keep that in mind. We do have the WRAL Storm Tracker out this morning. The Storm Tracker has been working all the major roads this morning on I-40, 440, and the Beltline. You can see right now it's getting into some heavy traffic, but still moving at a safe and steady clip.
Ken, thank you. At least 25 people are dead this morning after Typhoon Gamy made landfall in Taiwan and the Philippines this morning. We're talking hundreds of other people who were injured because of this. When the typhoon first hit the island, it had wind speeds of up to 140 miles per hour. And it also brought heavy winds, rain and dangerous storm surge with it. The storm is expected to make landfall in China some point today.
FBI Director Christopher Wray revealed before the gunman who attempted to kill former President Donald Trump fired shots, he searched online about President John F. Kennedy's assassination. Wray also says that Thomas Crooks looked up the phrase, how far away Oswald was from Kennedy. The FBI director also confirmed that Crooks flew a drone within 200 yards of the stage hours before that rally. He also bought 50 rounds of ammunition. Crooks might have had a collapsible stock on his weapon, meaning that's That's why witnesses did not see him carrying a weapon. Ray also said Crooks appears to have legally purchased the gun that was used from his father.
About the purchase of the firearm, I'm told that the father purchased the firearm in 2013, so quite a while ago, and then he sold it to his son in October of 2023.
I really see something.
Investigators are struggling to identify what motivated Crooks in the attack.
A tourist was rescued after severely burning his feet in the sand dunes at California's Death Valley National Park. Investigators say the 42-year-old man was from Belgium. He was taking a short walk Saturday when he lost his flip-flops. And they also say the ground temperature would have been hotter than 120 degrees. The man's family called for help, and other park visitors carried the man to the parking lot. His injury was so severe, it put him in the hospital.
Well, take a look at this video. Doorbell camera captured the moments this small plane crashed down in the front yard of a home in Utah. 2 people were on board that plane during the accident. Neither were seriously injured. A woman and her 4 children were inside that home when this crash happened. A neighbor says it sounded like an explosion.
I thought a house had exploded or something, and I came out front and I saw the airplane over in the driveway 2 doors down.
That is so scary. The 2 people on board were taken to the hospital. They are expected to be okay. 1 house and some trees were damaged when that plane came down. The NTSB is investigating the crash.
But everyone is alive, and that's good. The U.S. Department of Justice has finalized a plea agreement with Boeing. The company will plead guilty to a felony charge of defrauding the U.S. government and pay a fine of nearly $245 million. Boeing also admitted to defrauding the FAA when seeking permission for the 737 MAX plane to carry passengers. But a judge still has to approve this deal.
For the first time in over 30 years, NBA games will no longer air on TNT beginning next year. The league rejected Warner Brothers Discovery's offer to match Amazon's $1.8 billion per year bid to retain games. The new 11-year deal with NBC Universal and ESPN, it's worth a combined $77 billion. Under the agreement, beginning with the 2025-26 season, national games will be distributed across Prime Video, NBC's Peacock streaming service, and ESPN. TNT Sports said the NBA grossly misinterpreted its contractual rights and vows to take appropriate action. The upcoming season will still air on TNT.
Home Run Derby X is coming to Durham Bulls Athletic Park on September 7th. This event is a twist on the classic Home Run Derby. It features a former Major League stars and women's baseball and softball players. 5-time All-Star and former Atlanta Brave Andrew Jones will be playing that day. He's also a former Durham Bull. How about that? Durham will be the last of 4 stops for Home Run Derby X this season.
The opening ceremony of the 2024 Paris Olympics Games is just over a day away, and security is tight. French officials say they've already stopped at least 4 potential attacks on the Games. France's most elite counter-terrorist unit is preparing for any situation that could happen, including a bombing, hostage crisis, or other terrorist acts. In addition to hundreds of these specialists, more than 45,000 police officers will be on hand just for the opening ceremony.
As people across the world are excited to watch this year's games, sports psychologists say the athletes are under serious stress. Gary Baumgarten takes a closer look at how good mental health can mean excellent physical performance.
While many sports fans will tell you the Olympics are fun to watch, for the athletes competing in this year's Paris Summer Games, the pressure of going for the gold can tarnish their mental health.
They can get caught up in being the best at all times and trying to seek perfectionism as they're chasing medals, and that gets in the way of them taking care of themselves.
Sports psychologists say just having your body in peak condition may not be enough for an athlete to win.
It's important for elite athletes to be in tune with their mental health because the mind and the body are connected. The stronger your mind is, the better your body will be.
So it's critical competitors don't lose track of their wellness.
Simone Biles, she showed us in the last Olympic Games that her mind and body were not connected, and thus it was impacting her performance. So we could take a lesson from her.
This year is also the first time breakdancing will make its Olympic debut for professional breakers on Team USA. being thrust into the spotlight like this can be unnerving.
We want to showcase Braken at his best ability. And for me, I'm just trying to make sure that I enjoy the moment. I don't want to put too much pressure on myself.
But while good mental health is key for these athletes, psychology experts say some of the same practices they recommend for Olympians can also apply to everyday people.
Seeking professional help from a licensed mental health professional, and also reaching out to your support network and building up some coping skills.
So yes, these are athletes. They perform for us, but they are human too. That was Gary Baumgarten reporting.
If you enjoy taking personality quizzes, you're not alone. Psychologists say, unlike clinical assessments, personality quizzes are for personal use or entertainment. They can help us in navigating and understanding the landscape of our reactions and intentions and fun ways to connect with family and friends. They can also help with relationships and careers. A chase ends with a car crashing into a home in Wake Forest. What we are learning from authorities still searching for that driver.
As you get into your car, tune to WRAL News Plus on your radio. In Raleigh on 99.3 FM. In Durham, 96.5 FM. And everywhere on 101.5 HD3.
Good morning. Happy Thursday. Time now is 8:26. I'm Michelle McConaughey. We are in for another wet day. It's a WRAL weather alert day. Meteorologist Chris Michaels walks us through how much rain we're going to see.
And it looks like there could be 1 to 3 inches in parts of the area, hence the flood watch that's in effect through tonight. No warnings right now, but if one is issued, that means that flooding has either been observed or will happen soon. Again, no warnings, just the watch. There you see that heavy rain sitting right over Fayetteville. That's also moving into areas like Fuquay, Holly Springs, and Apex in Wake County. We'll have a live picture of that coming up on Fox 50. Hour by hour rain chances. You see the most widespread rain happening this morning. It turns more scattered as we head into the afternoon. Ken?
All right, happening now in the WO Traffic Center. Traffic has definitely picked up this morning in all our major routes as we're looking at a traffic map this morning. Of course, we see all these wet road conditions right now, even though we're in sort of like a dry pattern, depending on where you are. Coming into the capital city right now, very little to no delays, but if you're coming in from Wake Forest on US 1, it's going to take you an additional 5 minutes to get to the capital city this morning. Similarly, we're looking at Durham as well. It's taking about 3 minutes on I-40 westbound to get there from Wade Avenue.
Police in Wake Forest are searching for a driver who crashed a car into a house in Wake Forest. It happened on Barnes House Court. Authorities say police were chasing the driver in Rollsville. You can see a truck crashed into this car here, knocking it into the garage of the home. Nobody was hurt. Next on Fox 50, details of a chase that ended with the suspect's car crashing into a home. And next on Today, French picnic recipes to celebrate the Olympics.
Another WRAL weather alert day as we follow the potential for some localized flooding and an isolated risk for some stronger thunderstorms coming up. I'll show you the changes on the way just in time for the weekend.
Plus, new day, same story. Rain, rain, rain. The WRAL Storm Tracker is tracking road conditions to help keep you safe on your morning commute.
And developing this morning, police in Wake Forest searching for a driver they say crashed a car right into a home. This is a story we've been covering extensively throughout this morning, so we'll get to that coming up. Thanks for sticking with us. I'm Michelle McConaughey.
And I'm Chris Lovingood. When you see this on the screen behind us, you know you got to pay attention. A WRAL weather alert day, the 4th in a row, in fact. Meteorologist Chris Michaels is watching carefully as we're getting a live look at Apex this morning.
Exactly, and that's where the rain is starting to come in a little bit more into Wake County this morning. Starting out very lightly, very fine, but as I show you the dual Doppler 5000, you can see that rain starting to push into areas like Fuquay, Holly Springs, and Apex, eventually pushing northeast toward areas like Garner. I'll give you a wider view, and you see some of that is heavy at times just north of Dunn. That's going to move into Johnston County. Areas like Smithfield and Selma need to be watching for that. Also, Clayton, very heavy over Fayetteville right now. The heaviest rain is moving into Person, Vance, and Grenville counties right now. You can see that all well to the north of the triangle. Got some lightning east of Greenville, North Carolina. That's that's going to continue to move offshore. Another medium risk for flooding today. New this morning, that threat has shifted farther to the south, and I agree with that after looking at the latest data. Medium risk of flooding is something we've had for the past 9 days and 14 of the last 25. In Raleigh, we've seen 7.65 inches of rain. So as you're taking the dog out for a walk, I know if you're like my brother, he tries to wipe off all the water and mud off the dog before coming in the house. You may have to do that yourself. Temperatures near 80 degrees this afternoon, at least a break from the big time heat. I'll show you if that makes a comeback in time for the weekend coming up.
All right, we continue to monitor these wet road conditions just now, and we're seeing a trouble spot really brewing right now on the I-885. Right now, you can see that huge slowdown that's causing. There's apparently one lane blocked, an I-885 southbound lane. We're going to get more information about it, but you can see the huge backup it's causing from Alexander Drive all the way back to East Cornwallis Road as an alternate route. I would really recommend Highway 55 if you want to get an alternate route to get around I-885 this morning. But we'll definitely keep an eye on that and keep you posted in terms of how it's going to continue to affect your morning commute. Other incidents we're following, this one on Tryon Road near Lake Wheeler Road. It's not causing any problems in that area, but just watch for some police activity just in case you happen to be navigating that area. This is another one in Cary and Hillsborough Street near Jones Franklin Road. We're not picking up any issues in our sensors this morning, so just be mindful of the police activity. But really, all the icons you're seeing, basically police are working crashes on local roads this morning and not necessarily something that's going to affect your morning commute. We do have the WRAL storm tracker out this morning. Kelsey Coffey giving us a closer look on road conditions right now. You've been working all the major routes like I-40 and the Beltline. What are you seeing right now?
Ken, right now we're on US 1 South and Apex. So you heard Chris mention this area earlier. Take a look. We are seeing some rain here. We definitely had a heavy downpour in Durham around 7:45. So this is not as heavy as we saw back then, but definitely still some rain happening. So you will experience this likely throughout your morning commute. So give yourself a little bit of extra time because you're definitely going to want to slow down and watch your speed. Kelsey Coffey, WRAL News. Live in Wake County.
All right, we want to get to this developing story WRAL is following. Authorities say a police chase ended with a car crashing into a house near Wake Forest. As WRAL's Nick Perlin explains, this all began with a chase in Rollsville.
This is the aftermath of a police chase that started in Rollsville. You can see this Tahoe here badly damaged in the back part of the car and the car crashing into the garage door of this Wake County home. Now take a look at this video from the WRAL breaking news tracker, and you can see this truck that Rollsville police were allegedly chasing early this morning. You can see it here crashing into this Tahoe, leading to the Tahoe, then crashing into this garage door. Now when Rollsville police did arrive here, they didn't find the driver. The driver took off at some point shortly after this crash. So we're still working with Rollsville police right now to find out what led up to this chase. And of course, if they have any idea where the driver is this morning, as new information becomes available, we'll be sure to update you. In Wake County, Nick Perlin, WRAL News.
Breaking news just before 1 o'clock this morning. State Highway Patrol released the names of the 5 people killed in this fiery crash on I-95. The driver of the tractor trailer that authorities say started the crash is now facing 5 misdemeanor counts of death by motor vehicle. The crash happened just before 2 on I-95 North. That's near the Wilson-Johnston County line. Troopers say while traffic was merging for a lane closure, a tractor trailer failed to slow down. It plowed into those slowing cars, jackknifed and caught fire. 3 people in one car died. They were identified as Edward and Martha Davis of Greenville and Linda Whitehurst of Robertsonville. 2 other people died in another car. They were identified as William and Elizabeth Tucker of Georgia. The driver of the tractor trailer, 51-year-old Charles Haskell, he is being held in the Wilson County Jail on a $25,000 bond.
Today, Vice President Kamala Harris is set to speak at the American Federation of Teachers Convention in Houston. That National Teachers Union endorsed her for president, and we could soon learn who she will choose as her running mate. NBC News is reporting Harris will select her running mate by August 7th. That's the day the Democratic National Committee will hold its virtual roll call. State delegates will choose their nominee during that call. And North Carolina Governor Roy Cooper is among those being considered for Harris's number 2.
Former President Donald Trump is portraying Kamala Harris as an ultra-liberal as his campaign pivots toward the new challenger. Trump brought that message to Bojangles Coliseum in Charlotte last night. It was his first campaign rally since President Biden dropped out of the race. Trump said voters will reject Harris in November.
She is a radical left lunatic who will destroy our country. If she ever gets the chance to get into office, we're not going to let that happen.
Trump also highlighted a number of Republican candidates for office this fall, including outgoing State House Speaker Tim Moore, who is running for Congress.
In his first speech since dropping from the 2024 race, President Joe Biden said that his decision was about the future of democracy in America. Biden delivered his address last night from the Oval Office, and he said he decided it was time for a younger generation to lead and help unite the country. He says now it's up to the voters.
Great thing about America is here, kings and dictators do not rule, the people do. History is in your hands. The power is in your hands. The idea of America lies in your hands.
Biden did not mention former President Trump by name in his speech, but he did praise Vice President Kamala Harris, calling her experienced, tough, and capable.
There are fewer flight delays and cancellations this morning at RDU, where you're looking live right now. Delta CEO says he expects operations to be back to normal after days of problems following last week's global tech outage. More than 6,000 flights were canceled in the 6 days following the outage. At least 500,000 passengers were affected. Some were left stranded for days. The Federal Transportation Department is investigating why it took Delta so much longer than other airlines to recover.
Covering Wake County, a Raleigh woman is expected in court today in connection with sharing child pornography, according to arrest warrants. 42-year-old Vicky Sutter is charged with 10 counts of second-degree sexual exploitation of a minor. She is being held on a $200,000 bond and works at Duke Hospital. That's where hospital officials say that she is on administrative leave. Sutter is set to be in court at 1:30 this afternoon.
A Cary woman could face more than 10 years in prison after pleading guilty in the deaths of her 2 toddlers. Lonnie's Battle is charged with 2 counts of second-degree murder after leaving her children in a hot car while she gambled. According to the autopsy report, 2-year-old Trinity and 3-year-old Amora Milbourne died of hypothermia, which was while she was gambling at a sweepstake parlor in August of 2022. The report also said there was a 30 to 45-minute gap from when Battle left the sweepstake parlor and took them to the hospital.
Today, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu will meet with President Joe Biden and Vice President Kamala Harris. This meeting is happening a day after Netanyahu's address to Congress. He gave what some people are calling a divisive speech. Netanyahu did not talk about a ceasefire nor a hostage deal in the war in Gaza. He called on the United States instead to continue to support Israel's fight against Hamas.
House Speaker Mike Johnson and other Republicans say Americans should be standing with Israel. They gathered last night in D.C. Union Square to replace American flags that were destroyed in the protests days earlier. Demonstrators burned flags and spray-painted monuments during their protest against Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's congressional address. Pro-Palestinian protesters painted messages including "Hamas is coming." Capitol Police used pepper spray on some protesters. They arrested at least 17 people.
Today, football players and coaches from NC State and UNC will talk about the upcoming season. That's happening as the ACC kickoff event wraps up in Charlotte. New Wolfpack quarterback Grayson McCall will be among the players to address the media. McCall transferred to NC State this season from Coastal Carolina. UNC coach Mac Brown and several Tar Heel players will also talk about the season to come. WRAL is in Charlotte. We are there for the ACC kickoff, and we'll have a report in our later newscasts.
Coming up, pop culture icons are in Raleigh today, who you could be looking out for at the GalaxyCon as it kicks off.
And Jennifer Lopez shared her themed birthday party. We're going to get you a look at how she celebrated turning 55. That's just ahead.
And we'll take you live out to Sanford this morning on this WRAL Weather Alert Day. After the break, meteorologist Chris Michaels will share how storms are expected to progress throughout the day. Welcome back. 8:44 on your Thursday morning as you take a look over a cloudy Wilson this morning. This is going to be the story for much of the day, including those showers and storms later on. Meteorologist Chris Michaels has been tracking it all for us. Another WRAL weather alert day.
Another one, but I'll tell you some of the good news that just came into the Severe Weather Center is that we've seen a drastic improvement in the drought. Last week, 68% of the state was in a drought. This week, only a quarter of the state. Working for you to get an updated map. Live look at our newsroom in Fayetteville, where the rain is coming down. It's coming down pretty heavily as well in the Sandhills and continues to move from southwest to northeast. There's that little bit of a downpour hitching a ride on I-95. That's going to continue to move into Sampson County. You also see that moving into Johnston and Wayne counties. Pretty steady rain in the southwestern portion of Wake County. Talking Fuquay, Holly Springs, Apex moving into Cary. The heaviest rain is north of Raleigh. Person, Granville and Vance counties getting some pretty steady heavy rain. You notice that filling in at times from southwest to northeast. So yes, there's some breaks in the action, but there's also some of those tropical downpours as well. That's why a flood watch is in effect through tonight. Right-hand side of your screen is the level 1 severe risk, and I think that was issued really just because our ground is so saturated, a little more susceptible to some gusty winds that otherwise wouldn't go causing much damage. Here's 9 o'clock this morning. You see that steady rain pushing in and out of the area. Lunchtime scattered storms will continue for us even by 4 p.m. You see how the coverage of showers is at about 50%. Deeper into the evening, however, that chance is going to continue to come down for us. And by tomorrow morning, I think we're in good shape for the most part for the morning commute. Today, temperatures, what you see is what you get. Highs near 80. Again, the coverage of storms coming down a little bit heading into the evening. Now, we keep saying tropical moisture, and what I've done is I've taken a parcel of air and tracked it back for the past 10 days. That's where it started. South of Cuba, it has literally come in from the tropics. There you see the curve of it into our area. So that's why we say tropical moisture, air you can wear. It's been all of that. But we get a break in that heading into the weekend. So there in the red is the tropical humidity that lasts through tomorrow. Then by Saturday and Sunday afternoons, we get a break. Not going to feel like October or November, but at least a break in that really, really muggy air. Tomorrow's 85, Saturday, Sunday, 87 to 89. With that little bit of a break in humidity, we're back at it with storm chances scattered throughout the first half of next week. Even still, highs about 87 to 89 degrees.
Jeff Hogan in the WRAL Live Center. Air traffic disruptions of a different sort across much of Europe today. Environmental activists have launched a coordinated effort to disrupt air travel all throughout the summer holiday season, they said. But they started in Frankfurt, Germany today. Now, Raleigh has a direct flight to Frankfurt, Germany. That airport has had to cancel 140 of its flights today. Environmental activists were out there gluing themselves to the tarmac. You see people here. They got over the security fences. They triggered a response from police. Firefighters were out there. Airport security held up all sorts of travel and timing for these airports and flights to get out of this particular one. They said they had planned to target more airports around Europe all summer long to let people know about their disruption of the fact that they don't like the fossil fuels that are being used by the airlines, especially for the type of fuel that goes into these airplanes. And also that the climate data showed Monday was the hottest day on Earth on record ever.
Wow. All right. Thanks, Jeff. Well, this morning, the members of a tree trimming crew are in stable condition after being shot by a homeowner in Yancey County. That's north of Asheville. It happened yesterday afternoon. 36-year-old Lucas Murphy was identified as the shooter. The Yancey County Sheriff's Office says the crew was cleaning overgrowth for the power company when there was a confrontation and they were shot at. 3 people were severely injured before police shot Murphy, taking him into custody. And an area of Yellowstone National Park where a hydrothermal explosion launched steam and debris into the air will be closed for the rest of the season. Park officials say more blasts like this one are possible. The geyser on Tuesday was hundreds of feet high, and rocks the size of grapefruits were found as far as hundreds of feet away. A boardwalk was also destroyed. No one was hurt in that blast. It happened at Biscuit Basin, about 2 miles away from Old Faithful. The Grand Loop Road remains open to vehicles, and other thermal basins in that area are also open.
The infant mortality rate in the United States is up for the first time in decades. According to a new CDC report released today, nearly 21,000 babies died in 2022 before the age of 1. Overall, there was a 3% increase from 2021, and some of the leading causes of infant deaths were birth defects, unintentional injuries, and maternal complications. Health experts say any increase is a cause for concern, of course. The CDC also looked at 14 states that have enacted near total bans on abortion. All but 2 of those states had a higher than average infant mortality rate in 2022. A new study finds a twice-yearly shot could significantly affect preventing HIV infections among young women. Researchers say 2 injections a year of the drug called lenacapavir showed 100% efficacy in a study. 5,000 women and girls in Africa participated in the study, and none of them contracted HIV during the course of the study. The drug is already approved by the FDA for the treatment of HIV in adults.
Months after filing for bankruptcy, Red Lobster may soon have a new owner. Red Lobster announced in a court filing this week it will accept an existing sale offer from Fortress Credit Corporation. Fortress is one of Red Lobster's largest lenders and has financed the restaurant's operations. The sale still needs to be approved by a judge, and a hearing has been set for next week. Red Lobster has closed about 100 restaurants in recent months.
Hang in there, Cheddar Bay Biscuits. Hang in there. All right, so you have a chance to meet some of your favorite celebrities right here in Raleigh. GalaxyCon kicks off today. Doors will open at the Raleigh Convention Center this afternoon at 2. No, I do not have a costume this year. I wish I did. This year's convention will feature a lineup of celebrity guests. We're talking about Linda Hamilton, a.k.a. Sarah Connor in the Terminator series, Star Trek OG William Shatner, and some of your favorite actors from the Scream franchise. GalaxyCon runs through Sunday, and tickets are still available. Today's entertainment news takes us from Tinseltown to Broadway. Here's David Daniel with the Hollywood Minute.
I stumbled on the side of 12 misty mountains. I walked and I crawled on 6 crooked highways.
Here's your first look and listen at A Complete Unknown, starring Timothée Chalamet as Bob Dylan. The Dune and Wonka star sings A Hard Rain's a Gonna Fall in the first teaser trailer for the film about the iconic singer-songwriter. A Complete Unknown is set to arrive in theaters in December.
And I wanted to do it in a way that was sort of haunting and a little darker. And
2 multi-talented performers are set to make their Broadway debuts in Cabaret at the Kit Kat Club. Grammy nominee Adam Lambert is taking over the MC role, and Moana and Mean Girls star Auli'i Cravalho will assume the role of Sally Bowles. They'll take the New York stage beginning September 16th and are scheduled to perform in the show through next March.
I have rehearsed this part.
Jamie Lee Curtis is returning to Hollywood's Chinese Theater for yet another honor. The American Film Institute is conferring an honorary Doctorate of Fine Arts degree upon the Oscar-winning actress for contributions of distinction to the art of the moving image. She'll be recognized at the AFI Conservatory's commencement ceremony August 10th at the TCL Chinese Theater. In Hollywood, I'm David Daniel.
Viewership of the HBO show Veep has soared since President Biden endorsed Vice President Kamala Harris for president. Episodes streamed of the first season from 2012 were up more than 350% on the Max streaming service. This was the day after the announcement was made. The series ended in 2019 and has some similarities to the current political reality. So in the show, the female vice president, played by Julia Louis-Dreyfus, becomes president when the sitting president abruptly resigns. She later runs to stay in the job.
J-Lo took it back to the 1800s for her lavish 55th birthday party. The theme was, what else? Bridgerton. J-Lo shared an Instagram reel showing us all the pomp and circumstance from her bash in the Hamptons. It included a live orchestra, ballroom dancing, and plenty of other touches right out of Bridgerton. Beautiful.
Awesome costumes?
Yes.
I like that. All right, don't worry, we did not forget about you. Before we go to break, here are the winning lottery numbers. And we're going to get another check on our WRAL Weather Alert Day and traffic here in just a couple of minutes.